Chapter 1. Father and Daughter Racing Through Konoha. He didn't go home, or more precisely, he was heading home for family day. But it was early morning, the sun still rising up into the sky. He'd have to sleep through until evening once he made it to the house, and the whole day would be wasted. Naruto staggered through the deserted residential area, feeling almost drunk. But he hadn't been drinking, he was just utterly and overwhelmingly exhausted. A large yawn spilled out of his mouth, and tears welled up at the corner of his eyes. How many days had it been since he'd slept? He'd been working so hard lately that the answer was hazy. Simply going over all those documents was a lot of work. Once merchants had found out about the establishment of Family Day, they'd flooded into the Hokage's office with requests to set up stalls and kiosks. Spots had to be secured, security assigned. He'd only finished an hour earlier. As Naruto was getting ready to head out at last, Shizune, unable to just stand by and see him in that condition, had offered Naruto a pill to help him stay awake. But the pill smelled like dirty fish tank, so he'd politely declined. Thinking about it now, however, maybe he should have simply accepted it instead of being so fussy. Somnolence was serious business. The piles of garbage bags on the side of the road looked cozily comfortable, perfect for a nap. And Naruto was excessively jealous of the cat he spotted sleeping on top of a wall, looking to content. According to his master Jiraiya, anything related to the three desires, alcohol, money, woman, ruined a ninja. So even if he had succumbed to this overpowering desire for sleep, he would still be a respectable ninja. It would be entirely within his rights as a ninja to clap his hands in front of the snoozing cat, startle it into wakefulness, and then gloat. Gotcha. The lack of maturity of such an act, however, was another issue entirely. As he silently apologized to the cat, his house finally came into view. Looking into a 2-layer cake with a bucket on top, some said it was too modest a residence for the Hokage given that he governed the entire village. But if they built some luxurious mansion, then screamed extravagance, his dearly departed master would have taken him to task for drowning in the lust for money. And that sort of house wasn't what Naruto actually wanted anyway. "I'm home," he said as he opened the door to the house quietly, so as not to wake his wife and children, who were likely still asleep, and he didn't have the energy to produce anything louder anyway. However, his utterance of home was louder than he'd intended, or somehow his intended greeting turned into something more like a question. "I'm home? Himawari?" For some reason, his daughter Himawari was sleeping in the entryway. "Himo? Hey, you okay?" She was wrapped tightly in a blanket, so he didn't think she'd collapsed there because she was sick, but he shook her shoulder and her small eyelids lifted slightly. "Oh, Daddy, you're home." "What are you doing sleeping here?" Himawari, blearily eyed from waking up, and Naruto, bleary-eyed from lack of sleep, looked at each other. The answer to both of their questions seemed to be that they were both equally drowsy. Himawari rubbed her eyes, still lost in sleep. A crumbling sound came from her clutched fist. "Oh," she said, a sharp light growing in her eyes. "Daddy! Here? By this!" A hand extended out from beneath the blanket as she unfolded the ball of paper, a flyer, and pushed it toward him. "Ninetales, Kurama!" Naruto read the enormous round text out loud. In addition to the words, the flyer also featured a photograph of a long, slender egg alongside a cutified illustration of a fox with an abundance of fluffy tails. A fox with many tails given the name Kurama. His mind stared and started to ask the question. But there was something more important at the moment. He looked down at the blanket pulling into the step of the house. "Did you maybe wait here just so you could show me this?" Himawari nodded. "When she went out yesterday, Mommy said you would be home soon." The innocent words were a hook digging into his heart. It was true. He had told his wife, Hinata, that he'd tried to finish up with the work and come home the day before so that they could enjoy a leisurely family day together. "Sorry, I had all this work," It just never ended. He ran hand over hand his closely cropped hair as he made his excuses. And then he frowned. Did your mom go out? He peered into the house above Himawari's head. Second floor, bedroom, living room. He couldn't sense Hinata anywhere. Yesterday morning she said she was going to Grandpa's. Two people fell into the category of Grandma Himawari's grandfather. Naruto's father, Minato, who had passed away on over 30 years earlier. So the grandpa that Hinata had gone to see was Hyuga Hiyashi. She went to Grandpa's. What, again? Hiyashi was the head of the Hyuga family. Had she been planning to pop by and see him? Yesterday morning was a whole day ago. She hadn't said anything about being out of the house for so long. Actually, it had been none other than Naruto himself saying he would be home last night. Hinata had merely taken him at his word, which was exactly why she had decided to leave the kids to him. In other words, he had betrayed his wife's trust. I really stepped in it. Naruto slumped down in the entryway, head hanging. Daddy, are you okay? Why are you like Mr. Turtle now? Oh, it's nothing really. He staggered to his feet and waved a hand. Are you okay, Himawari? Mom's been gone since yesterday morning, yeah? What'd you do for food? Mommy made breakfast and lunch for me. There was no supper, though. Himawari glanced over her shoulder at the second floor. So Boruto made supper for me? He did. Following Himawari's gaze, Naruto also turned his eyes toward Boruto's room. He could hear a faint snoring. That kid. He's really got the big brother thing together, huh? That's right, Boruto cooked. Naruto rubbed the bottom of his nose, trying to hide the grin spreading across his face. What'd he make? Himawari hung her head and thought hard for a minute. A fried egg thing and a fried meat thing. Oh, and rice. Yeah? Although she responded not with the name of the dish but the ingredients, he still managed to get the basic idea. The important thing was Boruto was watching out for his little sister, so it was all good, probably. Now that he was thinking about it, Naruto could smell something kind of burnt wafting over from the kitchen. He imagined the blackened frying pan and the dirty dishes filling the sink. Well then, your dad, he'll figure out with something for supper today. For now then, let me sleep a bit. An inadvertent yawn spilled out of his mouth. You're still tired too, right, Himawari? You gotta get a real sleep in your futon. Not out of this hard floor. Okay. How about I carry you to your room? He moved to wrap his arms around his daughter. No, she pushed him back, fierce in her rejection. Huh? He expected her unexpected reaction threw him for a serious loop. You can't sleep, he brandished the flyer again. The Nine-Tails Kurama flyer. Let's go buy this right now, okay? Oh. Naruto was reassured that was all it was. Got it, but later. I'm totally wiped out right now. Later's no good. Look, see here? Himawari pointed to the part of the flyer. Special save family day only. A campaign to take advantage of the holiday. Had one of the merchants filling his office come up with this? The sly ways they sniffed out every opportunity to make a sale would make even a ninja user of the ocular jutsu click their tongue for shame. See? We can't buy it except for today. There's nothing you can buy, only buy today. If you just hang on until your next birthday, I'll get you a couple of toys just like that. Oh, kawam! A whole mountain of them, believe it. No, Himawari rejected again, let loose a scream that echoed piercingly in his sleep-deprived head. He winced. It's just hideous. The hand brandishing the flyer started to drop slowly, and his daughter's eyes were sharp as she glared at him. You never keep your promises. The words were a straight punch right in the gut. He desperately wanted to deny it, but sadly Himawari was right. He'd promised to take her out more than once. But then, when he still had work left on his plate, he'd sent the shadow doppelganger for her. And then the jutsu had come undone, and he'd been found out. Trust your dad, he said anyway. I'll definitely take you out to the play later, okay? Himawari puffed her cheeks up, sulking, and said nothing in reply. Naruto stepped out of the entryway with a hoarse laugh and moved toward his own room, one step at a time. 1 step, 2 steps. Himawari's eyes boring into his back the whole time. His steps gradually grew smaller until Naruto stopped at 5. He set his hands on his hips and took a deep breath, face towards the ground. He slapped his cheeks as hard as he could. And Daddy? He turned back toward a surprised Himawari and gave a big, winning smile. I'm just gonna take a quick shower. You go and get ready too, okay? Himawari blinked rapidly. Okay! She quickly smiled and ran off to her room upstairs. After hearing the door close, Naruto slapped his cheeks again, this time even harder than before. What the? Standing in front of the Masada Toys, the toy store in the old part of town, Naruto was speechless. Masuda couldn't begin to compare with the larger retailer. In the new town, in terms of square footage of variety of merchandise, but unlike the larger store, which ordered in toys indiscriminately, Matsuda maintained an assortment of goods that never failed to be exactly what children were looking for. If it was the largest video game that was suddenly all the rage, they would throttle back orders when the children started to lose interest, or else they'd pivot and focus their sales on some character merchandise everyone else expected to flop, and so they were occasionally the origin of new trends. Masuda was Naruto's preferred purveyor of toys, not so much because of their sales savvy and curated lineup, but because more than anything else, it was close to the house. Every time he passed by, he would remember Himawari's excitement about the toys or little Boruto's joy at getting any presentation at all, and his heart would grow warmer. And now Masuda was blocked from sight by a throng of people, all of them pressed up against the store, as though they were protesting it for some reason. The majority gathered were housewives Naruto's age and a little older. Strained voices rose up from the crowd. Hey, hurry up and open already. How long are you planning to make us wait? What are you going to do if our legs turn to stone standing out here? Our legs turn to stone, and we're basically stone puppets, yeah? Are you saying you want us to pay for a shuriken practice? You know what we call this? A daimyo shop. Daimyo. Getting too big for your britches, huh, Masuda? Incidentally, it was still early morning, before the store's usual business hours. Naruto watched from a distance as he turned to Himawari next to him, her eyes similarly wide. It can't be that everyone here, they all came because of that flyer. Probably, yeah. Kurama's super popular right now. Huh? Was all Naruto could say in response, overwhelmed by the fiery heat of the housewives. Ladies, please calm down, the plaintive plea reached his ears. Clear, even in the sea of angry cries, it was Masuda's shop's clerk. She stood in front of the shutters, cowering like a rabbit surrounded by a pack of lions. The store will be opening soon. To avoid crowding inside, please enter the shop one at a time. I'm asked to form a queue now, so the person at the front... A queue? You've got to be kidding me. That's right. Can you definitely say who was first or second? No, that's... The clerk cowered further. Yeah, are you going to make things right if some idiot who came along later lines up ahead of me? In that case, I'll distribute numbers via a lottery, the clerk suggested. So the person who gets the first... A lottery? Don't give us that. My kid's at home dying to have this thing. Now hurry up and open the store. Right, open it, came the voices in agreement. Their children had apparently begged them for a kurama, and so they had all been waiting in front of the shop since daybreak. I guess this is what they mean when they say mothers are strong, he thought, pained or rather filled with trepidation. He had a vision of the shop clerk being crushed before his eyes by the strong throng of mothers. So buying the kurama means slipping past the scary group of moms to get inside the store. What if it was Hinata there instead of him there? Would she shrink before his herd of mothers? The answer came to him right away. Although she was generally a gentle woman, at her core Hinata was a rock. He had no doubt that she would simply charge in there without a second thought if it was for the sake of their daughter. I didn't think it would be so popular, this kurama thing. What kind of toy is it exactly, he asked. Himawari gave him an innocent smile. You raised this fox, a nine-tailed fox spirit, and the fox's name is Kurama. Yeah, it's super cute, but I heard the real one isn't that cute. Like, his eyes are all budgy. Naruto considered this for a moment. Yeah, that's true, maybe. He does have weird eyes. Daddy, you saw the real Kurama? Her eyes opened wide in awe. Just for a second, it seemed this Kurama was indeed Kurama. He was pretty sure he remembered seeing a document asking for the right to develop merchandise patterned after Nine Tails. Kurama once feared as a catastrophic force, the creature that scarred the village deeply was now a product, a commodity for people to purchase. A small thorn that had pierced Naruto's heart abruptly dropped away. The hatred and fear that had been directed at Kurama faded, and he felt like he could finally accept the spirit. He had pressed his seal onto this deeply resonant document, but he never dreamed they would turn the fox into a toy for children. At any rate, it seemed his judgment had been correct. Naruto considered the situation carefully while he watched his daughter chatter happily. So at first, it's an egg, and you pet it and tap it and cheer it on, and then it comes out of the egg? A fox is born from eggs? He felt like that wasn't right, but then he wondered. A question mark floated above his head. It's all round happy. If you give it little food pellets to eat, they're called Hyorogan, and there are a bunch of kinds. If you feed it a red one, then its fur gets darker. This Kurama sure eats adorable things, huh? If you bop it on the head, you can play together, she noted. So you bop it on the head, this Kurama. He imagined his daughter giving the adorable fox from the flyer a hard pop. It was a fairly startling image, but he guessed the kids wouldn't be hitting it so fiercely as all that. Even still, a wee smile crossed his face. So it's born from an egg. You get food for it. Don't know, sounds like a baby, this Kurama. Himawari simply blinked several times, perhaps not really understanding what he was saying. Just when Naruto's grin was fading, he heard the voice that echoed from the depths of his stomach. Hey, just who are you calling a baby, Kurama? Or rather the genuine article, the real Kurama. He sounded extremely dissatisfied, as if he had never expected to be treated like a baby and didn't much care for it. Even if it was just a fictional character based on the real him. It was a hassle later on if that sentiment took root. Naruto turned his mind inward to reply, but then one of the Masuda customers suddenly called out to him, and he missed his chance to talk with Kurama. Oh, just when I was wondering who it was in the back there, if it isn't Naruto. Kiba! Weird to see you here. The voice belonged to a classmate from his academy days, a war buddy who'd stood with him on the line between life and death any number of times before. Inuzuka Kiba. The hair that struck out every which way when they were kids was now pulled back neatly, giving him a rough look in line with his tapered jaw. Something white moved sluggishly at his feet, the ninja dog Akamaru. He made his way over to Naruto, as if trying to escape from the crowd of clamoring mothers, and then promptly laid down. He was getting close to being a very old dog, and the commotion was probably annoying. And then a puppy came trotting over from behind it. Akamaru. Looking very much like Akamaru when he was small. You want to talk weird? I could say the same for you. Here, with your daughter, all proper? Sucked. You out shopping with your old dad today. Imurati reached out to pet Akamaru. But when Kiba spoke to her, she nodded and hid behind Naruto. Come on, it's not nice to say hello. It's not nice not to say hello. Naruto tried to make her apologize for her rudeness, but Kiba didn't seem to mind at all. Nah, it's fine. Being shy like that, maybe a little scared of new people. She takes after Hinata. But she's gotten a lot bigger, huh? She was just this big the other day. He brought his hands up in front of him to his chest to indicate a space of about a foot. Okay, look, she was never that small, Naruto said. She's not a puppy. You got no idea, right? Especially when you see her every day. Kiba laughed cheerfully and then continued. Anyway, we're here. Yours got her eyes on that Kurama too? Yeah, Himawari begged me. He stroked the hair of the girl still hiding behind him. And what about you? Don't tell me you got sick of the dogs, so you're trading them in for a fox, yeah? You gotta be kidding me. A friend just asked me to, so Kiba trailed off. She didn't actually ask me. It's just she saw the flyer and got all carried away by how cute the fox is, so I figured maybe I could surprise her with one. His eyes darted about, his voice sinking away into nothing. Naruto watched him with surprise. What's that look about? Kiba demanded. It's just a surprise for your girlfriend, yeah? He said. That's great, though. With you and Shino both single, he not a worries. This has got nothing to do with my old teammate. So you got a fox-loving girlfriend, Naruto smirked. Let me tell you right now, the other man protested. She's a real hardcore cat lover. Although with cats, I guess it'd be more softcore. Anyway, she's a devoted woman. She just got a little tiny bit tricked by a fox, that's all. He was getting too worked up over nothing, and he quickly regained his composure. But well, running into you here, I guess our timing's not the greatest. What do you mean? Kiba jerked his thumb over his shoulder toward Masuda. I looked into it a bit. Kurama's way too popular, and they're getting 10 today at best, maybe 20 if they're lucky. What? That's all? Naruto guessed there were nearly 100 people pressed up in front of the shop, meaning only 1 in 10 or so would be able to get a Kurama. I don't want to compete with the kid, but well, no hard feelings, you know. If only one of us manages to get the shutters over Masuda's doors slowly begin to rise, cutting Kiba off. Naruto could see what were likely the manager's fingers in the gaps above the ground, and then the shutters were all the way up. Opening time. The earth shook as everyone in the front of the shop surged inside as a single being. Ah, crap, they're all getting in before me. Kiba hurried, pushed his way through the crowd, leaving his beloved dogs behind as he melted into the human tsunami. Jeers and angry cries echoed from inside the small store, and Naruto even heard screams as people got stepped on. It was an all-out war in there. He swallowed hard and looked down at Himawari for a final check. What do you think? You gonna wait here? Himawari looked up at him. Her expression had been anxious upon hearing about the low stock, but she was apparently not ready to give up. She shook her head from side to side. Okay. Naruto steeled himself as he took her hand, stepped over the sleeping Akamaru, and went after Kiba. He proceeded past the various doodads, crammed together, knocked about by the chaos of customers, unable to take a real breath in the stuffy room. He was likely to lose Himawari's hand if he dropped his guard for even an instant. Sorry, could you let me through here? He headed further into the store, carving out a path between people with his shoulders. He had no idea where the Kurama would be in the midst of all this confusion, but he had guessed they would probably be near the cash register. Several of the customers noticed Naruto and cried out, Lord Okage? Lord 7th? He had no time to respond. However, merely cut through them with a knife hand instead of bowing and greeting, coming down. Ow! Ow, you just hit me with an elbow. Don't worry about it. You waited all night? What a coincidence. I was up all night too. I was. For some reason, more than one person in the crowd complained to him about the chaos, and he answered each of them rather non-committedly. When he finally managed to reach the cash register, there was a sign that read Family Day Only, Limited Time Special, just as he expected. There it is! He grabbed a long, slender egg, quickly bought it, and then slid away from the register area, going against the tide of people. When Naruto once again crossed the threshold to the outside world, Akamaru wagged his tail in greeting, as if to congratulate him on a job well done. Naruto finally took a deep breath while the joy of victory coursed through his veins. Yes! He held in his bag, hand held high in the air. A ton of people in there, but we managed to get this thing. He exchanged a grin with Himawari, who was clinging to his back. Her hair was a mess, likely because of that vortex of chaos they'd passed through together. and beads of sweat popped up on her forehead. Kiba came out of Masuda while Naruto was tidying up Himawari's hair. His shoulders slumped in disappointment. Damn it, they're sold out. Other dejected customers followed him out in the trudged way. You didn't get one? Naruto is an eyebrow? But you got in there before we did. I didn't know where they are, or where they were, Kiba shrugged. And with so many people in there, my nose wasn't any help. Dang. Well, you can't use your nose to look for toys. Anyway, Naruto rolled his eyes. Daddy? Himawari tugged on his sleeve. She was staring at the bag with the egg and anxiously. A wry smile on his face. He handed her the bag, beaten down by a human tsunami after several all-nighters in a row. Every muscle in his body was crying out in exhaustion, but it was all worth it if he got his daughter to see his daughter's happy face. However, the look on her face as she pulled the egg from the bag was not what he'd had been expecting. Kiba peered at her hand and furrowed his brow. Naruto? Naruto also dropped his gaze and then doubted his eyes. One-tail Shikaku? Instead of the adorable fox with its many bushy tails, it was a portly, plump tanuki with a round tail drawn on the egg. It's not Kurama. It's a copycat product made in Sunagakyo. You know, you raise a one-tail instead of a nine-tails. Kiba explained, but Naruto wasn't listening. He hurried back into the store and ran down the aisle. An easy feat, now that most of the customers had departed. Stunned, he stared at the cash register. The sign hanging there was the Family Day Only limited time special that Naruto had seen, but beside a basket that said Smash Hit Nine-Tails Kurama was another basket that suggested how about a Tanuki too. 2 baskets. The Shukaku's eggs were still piled high. Clearly not the most popular item of the day. Naruto said to the clerk at the register, turning his eyes toward Kurama's basket, which didn't have so much as a mote of dust in it. So I guess you don't have any Kurama. The clerk shook her head, a profoundly apologetic look on her face. He made his way back outside on weak legs, and Himawari burst into tears. Her small shoulders shook hard. I'm sorry, guys. Her small shoulders shook hard, and the 2 ninja dogs paced anxiously around her. Okay, listen. Once the fad is over, it'll be a piece of cake to get a toy like that. Kiba nervously tried to comfort Naruto's daughter. Your birthday's still a ways off, yeah? By then you'll be able to get one of those foxes so easy. It'll make this whole thing now a joke, huh? For real? Absolutely. Kiba. And your dad's the Hokage, yeah? That's such a huge deal that even someone like me couldn't be Hokage. Your dad goes and talks to someone and any toy you want will be... Kiba, Naruto interrupted. That's enough, believe it? You say that, but you... Kiba looked from the sobbing Himawari to Naruto and back again. His meaning was crystal clear. What are you going to do about this kid now? Himawari, Naruto muttered, as he put a hand on her shaking shoulders. Sorry, I should have double-checked. I was just in a panic. The small hands that had been wiping tears away stopped suddenly to reveal eyes that were swollen and bright red from crying. Naruto didn't look away, but instead carefully held her gaze. I'll get one. What? Himawari asked in reply. A Kurama, he said. And I'm not talking about the next time here. No way. I'll get one today. Believe it. She hung her head for a moment, but finally nodded and rubbed her eyes before flashing him a shy smile. Naruto figured that was enough, just so long as she wasn't crying. What do you want to do? You're not actually going to exercise your Hokage privileges, are you? Naruto laughed off Kiba's question. I don't have any privileges that are that convenient. They started sales on Family Day, so that must mean they've ran production just for today. I'll just use my shadow doppelgangers to go around every single store. Shadow doppelgangers, huh? Kiba snorted. You Think like you're exhausted after a mission. You still got enough in you for doppelgangers? I'm just sleep deprived is all. Art of multi-shadow clones. White smoke puffed up around them as Naruto wove the science to produce 2 clones, several hundreds of what he usually managed. He froze, fingers crossed, and broke into a cold sweat. There's just 2 of them. You said multiple. You're making me roll my eyes over here. Kiba flicked each doppelganger on the forehead. There was a shredding sound, and then they vanished. Ah! Naruto cried, "Idiot! Doppelgangers aren't gonna do you any good. Today's basically a festival. All that's gonna happen is they'll get knocked around by the crowd and disappear. That's it." Kiba asserted. "How about I give you a hand? My nose doesn't work in the shops either, but I can pick up a kurama. I just need to find the scent trail of the red earth and dandelions used in the ink, and it'll be all good." When he saw that Naruto was baffled by the sudden proposal, Kiba said, "Don't get the wrong idea. I don't care either way if your stock goes down, but I'm not gonna sleep too good after the girl cried on us like that. I know I said no hard feelings before, but it's like when she's crying like that, it's a little..." He scratched his head, his cheek, awkwardly. "Listen, I'll go look in the new town. You take the old town. If you find Kurama first, then get into sage mode and come. Oh, in your condition, that's probably a no-go. Well, I'll come join you when I feel like it. Don't go anywhere with extra weird smells." "Okay," Naruto nodded. "All right. Come on, guys." Kiba headed toward Hokage Rock, Akamaru and Akemaru trailing behind him. Naruto watched until he disappeared into the thronging crowd and then crouched down back toward Himawari. "Okay, should we get going too?" "Yeah." She scrambled eagerly onto his back. It was just like Kiba said. Kids grew up way faster than their parents realized. He was sure she'd been lighter the last time he'd given her a piggyback ride. Another thing you don't notice when you see each other every day, but the Kiba's words really applied to Naruto now? Lately, he barely saw Himawari every other day. No. He had to do what he could for her now. Not just look back on the past with resolve in his heart. Naruto started to run. "You got any Nine-Tails, Kurama?" Naruto yelled as he flew into the first place he saw, the 24-hour general store. The sales clerk gaped at the sudden appearance of the Hokage. "Oh, Daddy, over here, there's a lot of them." "Really?" He turned his eyes to his shelf cash register, and indeed he saw eggs that looked like the real thing on display. "They're all Shikaku, huh?" "They are," the clerk nodded. As far as he could see, each and every one of them was a tanuki. He actually felt a little bad for the toy, which was clearly not selling at all. And why were so many Sunagakure toys being sold in Konohagakure? To begin with, he was starting to suspect that the things hadn't been sold at the other village and now were being passed along to his town. Might be funny to buy a bunch and send them to Garo, he mused. "Garo?" his daughter asked. "A friend in Sunagakure. When we were kids, he was always with Shukaku. When he and Shikaku got separated, it was a whole thing in and on itself. Was he lonely after the Tanuki was gone?" Himawari wondered. "He must have really loved it." "Nah, not quite." "Okay." Next door, with the same force that he had entered the shop with, Naruto dashed out of the general store. "Kurama, the toy, all the rage lately." "Nope, don't have it." "Actually, let me ask you, did you really think we'd have it? As you can see, we're a flower shop." He'd gone into the Yamanaka flowers along the way because he had nothing to lose by giving it a try. The shop was run by Yamanaka Ino, one of his classmates from the academy, and while flowers of all hues and colors greeted them, there was not a single toy in sight. Yeah, I guess not, Naruto sighed. "What's Sai up to anyway?" "He's out with Inojin. I could give him a message if he needed something." "Nah, it's okay. Nothing like that. Sorry to bug you at work." Naruto waved a hand. "It's fine." "Oh, Naruto, wait, hang on." Ino stopped him and pulled out one of the many flowers lining the walls. "Here for you, Himawari." She handed Himawari a sunflower. "A Himawari." in full bloom. Wow, thanks, Auntie, she responded joyfully. She'd been shy with Kiba, but perhaps the gift of a flower bearing her own name helped her to let her guard down now. Oh, calling me Auntie, maybe I'll just give you one more as a bonus. And another sunflower did indeed join its companion in Himawari's hand. The girl was even more thrilled as she waved enthusiastically as Ino saw them off. I know you just got them and all, but you can't hang on to your old dad if you've got those flowers in your hand. How about we drop by the house first and leave them here? Naruto suggested. What? No, I'll carry them. If I poke him in here, they won't be in the way. The here that she was selecting was the collar of his shirt. Scritch, scritch. He felt the stems rub against his back. Oh, yeah. He turned his gaze toward the show window next to them and saw his own reflection, self-reflected back, sunflowers sticking up off his head like antennas. Quite like the lively fashion. You think they'd suit me? He asked Himawari. She laughed in return. They're perfect. Naruto laughed, slightly embarrassed. The wee ones these days, it's all beep, boop, beep, boop. They're obsessed with their beep booping. Don't have the time of day for the old games. The old lady groaned, a difficult look on her face. She'd been running the ancient sweet shop for too long to remember. Wrinkled, since Naruto was a kid. And that hadn't changed now. She was still covered in wrinkles. Entranced by the candies, Himawari cocked her head to one side, lips covered with Kanako sweet powder. What's a beep boop? Boruto plays with one during supper, Naruto said. A beep boop. That's what she's talking about, believe it. That's not a beep boop, the old lady argued. That's the star of hope for the next generation of toys, the lightning scroll. It's different, so then what's a beep boop? A beep boop. A beep beeps, a beep boop. You get a title and put on these airs. But you can't even tell a beep boop from a lightning scroll? That's a sad state. The old woman grumbled as she pulled back a package off the shelf. Now then, I suppose you're looking for the Kurama or whatever it is. You got any? Naruto's heart thumped hard in his chest. Nope. Unfortunately, there are none here. None of that. But I got something even better, the old lady assumed an air of importance and then pulled out the contents of the package. Origami. He was speechless. What's that look for? This is much more fun than any beep boop or what have you. Himawari, he turned to his daughter. Let's get your mouth cleaned up there. She nodded. The woman cried. Leave it. Quit that. Don't use that to wipe the wheeze one's mouth. It's not a napkin, you know. Now listen, get folding. Hurry up and fold. We're actually in a hurry. Well, I guess I can't hurt. He folded the paper, getting instructions from the old lady as he went. Maybe it was the first time he'd done origami in a while. He managed to have a decent amount of fun. And Himawari also seemed pleased with the shuriken he made out of silver paper. So he strung it up on the hemp cord and hung it from her neck. He never did find out what a beep boop was. Naruto turned half an eye into the ninja tool shop. Ninja Tools 10. The owner, 10, was leaning in back her chair, arms hanging. She was extremely lazy. Can't sell a thing. After I went on a holiday. Can't sell a dang thing. And after I went and got some family-type kunai in stock just for the holiday, haven't sold a single one. What exactly are family-type kunai anyway? Naruto asked. 10 waved a hand in the general direction of the showcase, still half lying down, tucked away inside were uniquely shaped kunai, each with a different blade at the end of its hilt. One was a long, slender, while the other had a roundness to it like a pen nib, and although short, glittered sharp at the tip. How that's got anything to do with the family, he raised a doubtful eyebrow. The long blade's the parent, and the short one's the kid, she explained. See, looks like a parent with their child, right? Bit of a stretch, don't you think? Naruto commented. Anyway, you got this toy, Ninetales Kurama? Ten Swing stopped abruptly. That's the 4th time I've gotten asked that question today. So is that what's going on? You all telling me this tool shop's behind the times? That I should close up the shop and open up a toy shop already? You think so too, Lord Seventh? That's why you asked, isn't it? The shop's a loser, so I better get to a side hustle going with toys? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I don't think that, and I'm not saying that, believe it. Naruto denied the charges weakly. It's true that this place isn't popular at all. The neighborhood kids just use the place for their little games of chicken. They say I got a huge gourd in here that speaks in a human voice. Plus, I'm way overstocked on ironware, so people come and complain that the magnetic field's wonky around here. If I could just sell wholesale to the police or the academy, I'd have sold all this stuff ages ago. But no, they all take those contracts somewhere else. Daddy, why is that lady crying? Himawari asked. Naruto paused. I guess 'cause we're at peace, maybe. But that's a good thing, right? Sure is. Naruto decided to buy some earrings that caught his eye. Miniature kunai dangled from the ends of the clips, just big enough to sit on his fingertip. By the time he was paying for them, Tentei was back to her old self. Customer service, smile plastered on her face. What about picking these up at the same time? She pointed again to the family-type kunai. Naruto burst out laughing at the power of her mercenary spirit and the speed at which she switched gears. Together with Himawari, he ran around to each and every store in the old town, but they didn't encounter a single Kurama egg. And now the sun was sinking in the sky. Naruto gritted his teeth. After all, he had the real Kurama inside of him, and yet his only hope now was Kiba off in the new town. Hey, Naruto! He heard Kiba's voice from above and looked up to see the man on the roof of the restaurant next to him. I found it, Kiba shouted. A real Kurama this time. Seriously? Naruto shouted back. Kiba kicked out the sign and dropped down the ground before turning toward Himawari and bopping a thumb up. Everywhere was sold out, but there was just one left at the shop, at the train station, and the souvenir shop on the platform for long-distance trains to other villages. Unlike Konoha, the other villages are not particularly interested in Kurama. But are you sure? Naruto asked hesitantly. You want to give one of your fox-loving girlfriend, yeah? She doesn't love foxes. She likes cats anyway. I didn't tell her I was going to get her one anyway. So no harm, no foul, basically. Kiba shrugged. Huh? Naruto smiled. Oh, right, Himawari. Yeah, thanks. Uncle Dogman, Himawari grinned too. It's all good. Kiba flashed a smile, not at all put off by the title she gave him. I got Akamaru to carry it, so should be here, so... Oh, speak of the devil. He turned just as Akamaru appeared together from the sea of people. There you go, the eagerly awaited Thunder Burger. Kiba thrust a hand into the paper bag. Normally I don't feed him junk food, but this burger got no additives. My dog just love him, hey? This is a Thunder Burger bag. What happened to Kurama? There's even the change in here. Hey, Kiba, Naruto muttered uneasy. Over there. A man in a hood was hurrying away from the scene, back through the crowd the dogs had just come out of. In his hand was a paper bag with the train symbol printed on it. Oi, no way, Kiba yelped. You're kidding me. Someone switched bags on you, Akamaru. Damn it. It's 'cause I haven't fed you since the morning. Kiba, Naruto took Himawari off his back and thrust her toward Kiba, along with all the things they were carrying. Hang on, Himawari. Hang on to her, Kiba gaped at the Hokage. Hey! Naruto shot after the man in the crowd, catching sight of this man. The man abruptly quickened his pace, nimbly dancing past the throngs. This added to the fact that he had tricked Akemaru. No matter how hungry the dog might have been, sealed it for Naruto. This guy was a ninja. Hey, Naruto yelled. Hold it right there. There wasn't a ninja in Konoha, he didn't know, and the man had to have been aware of this. He pulled his hood tighter around his face to keep from being seen and started to run, indifferent to the people he bashed into in his haste. Naruto simply couldn't be as rough with the people of Konoha. and he felt compelled to stop and help passerbys back to their feet as he gave chase. The man gradually pulled away from him. This day, he hadn't been able to do anything for Himawari. In the end, he'd done nothing but get her hopes up and then dash them to the ground. Kiba had been the one to get a hold of Kurama, and the man ahead of them was making off with it. Naruto had to get at least one thing back. But not only had he not slept in a hole who knew how long, he spent the day running around Konoha, meaning his stamina and chakra were both at rock bottom. Even if he tried to teleportation no jutsu, it would probably get him nowhere, just like the doppelgangers that morning. I don't want to make a huge commotion in the middle of the village, but desperate times. Kurama! Naruto turned his mind inward and spoke to Ninetales. Sorry, but could you help me out here? Oi, Kurama! I don't want to, came the somewhat petulant reply. Why not? It's your fault for calling me a baby, and Shikaku. Of all things that you would mistake me for that Tanuki? And you know what?
And now you're talking to me in that tone.
No, I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm in a serious fix here. Himawari's...
All the more reason.
What?
What I'm saying is, you can't rely on me. You have to work this out for yourself. If you're not going to go all out for your daughter, then when will you, idiot?
Naruto couldn't say anything to that. He brought his mind back to reality. Yeah, I guess he's got a point. He already knew that Kurama was right. He had to get that Kurama with his own strength. It was just a battle of willpower and stamina now. He ran intently after a man as he wandered. How far have I run anyway? The man slowed when he turned into a deserted alley. It seemed less likely his strength was giving out and more like he was resigning himself to his fate somehow, as though he couldn't allow himself to flee any further. Gotcha! Naruto shouted and leapt at the man's back. He pushed him down onto the road and quickly peeled back the hood. Just as he expected, the man was a Konoha genin, one who Naruto had ordered to look into the things in the borderlands. Pinned to the ground, the man gritted his teeth and intently avoided Naruto's eyes. The man had never caused any trouble before. So why was he getting his hands dirty with that petty theft? Daddy? Naruto heard a child's voice, and a boy tottered out from the alley. Why are you out here? It's okay. I'm okay. So just wait inside. The man's voice was shaking. Naruto quickly understood the relationship between the pair from the agitation in the man's voice. There didn't seem to be any need to hold him down, so he released the man on the ground. What's going on here? The answer came not from the man, but from Naruto, behind Naruto. Looks like he wanted to get a Kurama for his kid, no matter what he had to do. Just like you. It was Kiba when he had caught up. Beside him, Himawari sat across Akamaru's back. Naruto turned back to the man before him, gaze probing him for the truth of this. My sincerest apologies. The man sat up and pressed his forehead to the ground. My son wanted one so desperately, so all I could think about was how to get it. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find any. And then, just as the sun was setting, I heard Kiba. Something just came over me. Sobbing, the man explained that he was always away from the village, patrolling the edges of the country, and then finally he had a day off. When he saw his son for the first time in far too long, the boy had timidly pleaded for a Ninetales Kurama plush toy. Naruto listened silently to the man's story. He had only wanted to make his child happy, and Naruto understood that feeling painfully well. But he had crossed a line that should never have been crossed. He had to be punished for the crime of theft, and in front of his son, of all things. Maybe he should at least send the boy away before he did anything. While he was wrestling with this, Himawari slid down from Akamaru's back, picked up the paper bag with Kurama in it, and handed it to the man. Here, this is yours, right, mister? You shouldn't drop it. What? A question mark popped up above the man's head. Himawari. Naruto wore his own question mark. She looked back at him with a faint smile, just like her mother's, as if she had seen through the heart of everything. This man was just trying to bring the kurama he brought his son. Right, Daddy? Naruto understood what his daughter was getting at quickly enough. Oh, yeah, he understood, but are you sure, though? I know you wanted one too, Himawari. Pretty bad. It's okay, I have this. She pulled out the shukaku Naruto had bought by mistake. It's a special present from you. I love it. And then she gently stroked the silver paper shuriken hanging around her neck. You're always so busy, Dad. You never play with me, but today we got to spend a whole day going to all these different places. It was super fun. I have too many treasures now. I can't carry anymore. Hima. Naruto's face relaxed as the faint smile on her face was replaced with an innocent grin that showed her age. Whoa. If this little girl doesn't want it, Kiba started to reach out, but Akamaru and Akemaru both snapped at him, and he quickly yanked the hand back. Ouch! Even still he was smiling. Naruto grew serious again, crouched down, and brought his face close to the man, who was still on his knees. We're good on the Kurama thing, he declared quietly. But the way you were pushing around the people of the village, I can't actually let that slide. I know. He hung his head in dejection. As of today, you are released from your mission in investigating the borderlands, Naruto said. He closed his eyes tightly, shaking in despair. The Hokage placed a hand on his shoulder before continuing. Starting tomorrow, you're on guard at the gate. I'll tell Shikamaru. It's the biggest landmark in Konoha. After Hokage Rock, so you better take good care of it, believe it. Is this a demotion then? Oh no, please excuse me. I will carry out my duty to the utmost of my abilities. Listening to the man's humble words, Kiba snorted with laughter. Idiot. It means you don't gotta be far away from the village anymore. Take good care of your son of yours. Oh. Tears welled up from the corner of the man's eyes again. Thank you so much. So Naruto pressed on his joints, stiff from the full day of being worked like a slave, as he slowly stood up. Okay, how about we head home? Boruto, supper. Daddy bought hamburgers. It's already nighttime. How long are you gonna sleep? Himawari yelled for her older brother from the bottom of the stairs. Boruto's sleepy voice came in response, and then there was the sound of the front door opening. Oh, Mommy, you're home. Yeah, he did come home. Huh? Oh, my ears? Pretty great, huh? Daddy bought them for me. And this too, and this, and this. It appeared that Hinata was home for the first time in a long time. They would be able to have supper together as a family. As he dozed on the sofa in the living room, Naruto turned his ears toward Himawari's excited voice. Normally, he slept away his days off, but he spent this one in a flurry of sorts. He hadn't been able to rest at all. But if anyone asked if he was unhappy about that, he would have smiled and said no. It was absolutely the right way to spend family day. So you're home. Naruto's eyes flew open. He had apparently fallen asleep at some point and hadn't realized that Boruto was right beside him. The look on his face was sulky and extreme. Guessing the reason for that, Naruto turned to face his son. Sorry about yesterday. It's fine, whatever, Boruto snorted, annoyed, hands clasped behind his head. So then, he wasn't mad that Naruto hadn't been able to make it home, which meant he was just in a bad mood because he spent the whole day sleeping. Or maybe Naruto turned his mind toward the entryway. Himawari was still showing Hinata the various presents the day had brought her. You wanted to hang out today too? Naruto asked. What? Boruto threw his head back in shock. Why would I want that? I just wanted to complain because the hamburgers you brought back are so small. So teeny. The bag's not empty yet, though. Naruto pointed at the Thunderburger bag on the desk. Boruto glanced over at it and stiffened up. He flapped his mouth open and closed like a goldfish, looking for some other excuse. And then Naruto noticed that he had something in his hand, a flyer, although it was mostly hidden behind his head, so he couldn't make out the details. This page was crumbled just like the one with Himawari that morning, but Naruto could just make out the name of the shop, Ninja Tools 1010, smiling really, so as not to show that he had guessed what was going on. Naruto put a hand in his pocket. You'd probably rather have a video game, but lightning scroll. Was it? I don't really get that stuff, though. He pulled out a long, slender package and offered it to Boruto. What? His son raised an eyebrow. What's this? It's a present, believe it. I figured hamburgers alone weren't quite enough. Huh? Cocking his head to one side, Boruto opened the package, a kunai with blades at both ends of the hilt glittered brand new. This? A grin began to spread across his face, but he quickly pursed his lips to maintain his sulk. He crumpled the kunai's packaging and whirled around. But as he was leaving the room, Naruto heard him whisper, "Thanks," in the smallest voice. Yup. His own voice in reply was also small. He shot another weedy grin after his complicated son before him settled back down on the sofa. There was something else he had to speak with. So hey, come on, stop grumbling already. I picked Shikaku because of a bit of a mix-up, believe it. How long are you gonna pout? I'm absolutely fox over Tanuki, you know. I mean, I get the kitsune fried tofu on my ramen and everything. Fox ramen, right? So are you listening? Hey, I said, hey, Kurama. End of the chapter. Okay, so apparently there's more with this section of 1, so I'm going to read it. It's called Shino's Interludes, Master Shino and Lunch. Naruto had decided that they would have family day, and the atmosphere was festive in Konohagakure. Laughter rang out from every direction, and the food carts played an sizzling orchestra of frying food, accompanied by the littling melody of flutes and the powerful rhythm of drums. A round of applause rose above it all, perhaps in appreciation of a street performer offering up a particular fabulous trick to her audience. Everyone in the village was making much merry. Yes, everyone. This man was no exception. Family day, huh? Because of the metallic goggles on Academy instructor Aburame Shino's face, it was generally hard to pick up on his expressions. But a smile clearly played on his lips now. I wasn't sure if I should object to this ongoing tendency to slight single people when the holiday first came to my attention. But this is nice. Even a single person like me can enjoy the day. Food stalls lined the street where Shino stood. In his right hand he held fried squid, a sausage skewer, and a chocolate banana in his left, a bucket of popcorn. He actually wasn't that hungry. He'd just gotten swept up by the festive mood. I want to see a movie next. Movie! Hearing a familiar voice, Shino turned to see a student from the academy with her parents. She hadn't seen him. However, as she walked in the direction of the movie theater, she seemed to be having a great time. He did feel a twinge of sadness at the sight, but it quickly disappeared. True, he was single, but he had a family to love nonetheless. And he wasn't talking about any sentimental nonsense like how all the students at the academy were his family. No, his family was in his heart, his chest to be precise. Almost as if in response to the thought, the insects in his chest started making noise. The bugs gave Shino life, while simultaneously making their nest inside his body. They were with him 24 hours a day, in sickness and in health, in joy and in sadness. Comrades bound by a greater bond than that so-called family. Is it this late already? He muttered to himself. All this wandering around and eating had dulled his sense of time, and he hadn't realized it was already lunchtime. He looked for a place to set down the skewers in his right hand. Unable to find one, he shoved them all into the mountain of popcorn and then dug around in his pocket, pulling out an adorable stuffed fox toy with 9 tails. Sorry for the wait. He set the popcorn down at his feet and took a food pill in his left hand. The stuffed fox swallowed this down as though it were real food. Yum, yum. Oh yeah? Give me more. No need to rush. No one's gonna take it from you. You're my family now, and I love you. He made a point of learning about things his students were interested in whenever possible, which was why he purchased the 9-tails kurama, but he ended up deeply taken with it, surprisingly. Already he doted on it, in a ridiculous manner, so much so that he didn't hesitate to call it his family. My kurama's much more clever than that cute Naruto's cute. More clever and cuter than Naruto's Kurama. Shino smiled fondly, the picture of a devoted father, while the insects in his chest clamored even more loudly. 2 minutes later, they grew impatient of waiting on a host who was failing to provide their lunchtime chakra and began to greedily devour it without permission, causing Shino to faint. End of that chapter. Part expert 1 or whatever.